If you're watching this, you're probably not here for breaking news or dramatic warnings. You've seen enough of those. What you're really looking for is something quieter, something you can trust. After 50, we learn an important lesson about health. Panic never protects us, but understanding often does. You may have heard the name Nipah virus mentioned recently. Briefly, almost in passing, it's rare. Most people will never encounter it, and yet, when it appears, it can be serious, especially for older adults. Here's the part most headlines skip. Nipah doesn't spread easily. It doesn't move through grocery stores or public spaces the way the flu or COVID once did. According to the World Health Organization, outbreaks have been limited and contained. But when people do become infected, the risk of severe illness is high. That tells us something important. Protection isn't about fear. It's about knowing where real risk begins and where it doesn't. So in the next few minutes, I want to talk with you calmly about how people actually protect themselves from Nipah. Not through extreme measures, not through isolation, but through simple awareness. The kind that fits naturally into daily life after 50. If you stay with me, you'll understand what matters, what doesn't, and how to protect your health without living in worry. Part 1, where Nipah begins. Understanding the first quiet step. To understand how Nipah affects people, we need to start somewhere unexpected. Not in hospitals, not in cities, but in nature. For decades, scientists have known that the natural home of the Nipah virus is fruit bats. They carry the virus without appearing sick themselves. It's part of a delicate balance that exists quietly in the wild. Most of the time, that balance holds. According to research tracked by the World Health Organization, outbreaks don't begin with people. They begin when everyday human habits unintentionally cross paths with wildlife, often through food, farming, or changes in the environment. This is what scientists call spillover. It sounds technical, but the idea is simple. When fruit bats feed, traces of saliva or waste can land on fruit, sap, or nearby surfaces. If those foods are eaten raw, unwashed, or left exposed, the virus can move, not aggressively, not dramatically, but quietly. And that's an important word to remember. Quietly. Nipah doesn't rush. It doesn't chase people. It waits for the right conditions. In several documented outbreaks, particularly in South and Southeast Asia, investigators found a common thread. Uncovered food, fresh fruit not washed thoroughly, or direct contact with animals that had already been exposed. What this tells us is reassuring. You don't need to change your entire life to stay protected. You don't need fear. You need awareness. After 50, many of us already practice the kinds of habits that matter here. Washing food carefully, being mindful about what we eat, respecting the boundary between the natural world and our kitchens. Science confirms this matters. Studies show that simple food handling practices, washing, peeling, cooking, dramatically reduce viral exposure risks. Not just for Nipah, but for many infections we rarely think about anymore. So part 1 isn't about danger. It's about understanding where risk actually begins and recognizing that for most people watching, those risks are already manageable. Because protection, especially at this stage of life, is less about control and more about mindful living. Part 2, how Nipah spreads and why everyday contact isn't the real risk. Now this is the part where many people begin to feel uneasy, because whenever we hear the word virus, our minds jump to one question: how easily does it spread? And that's a fair question, especially after everything we've lived through in recent years. Here's the reassuring truth. Nipah does not spread easily in everyday settings. It doesn't drift through the air. It doesn't pass casually in public spaces. You don't catch it by walking past someone at the store or sitting across a room. According to studies reviewed by the CDC and the World Health Organization, Nipah transmission requires very close contact, typically exposure to bodily fluids such as saliva, respiratory secretions, or blood, and usually when someone is already seriously ill. That detail matters because it tells us where the real boundary is. In documented cases, person-to-person spread most often occurred in caregiving situations, family members tending to a sick loved one, or healthcare settings without proper protective measures. Not from brief contact, not from shared air in public places. This is one of the reasons outbreaks have remained limited rather than widespread. And there's another important piece many people don't hear. Nipah has an incubation period that can range from 5 days to 2 weeks. During that time, people usually aren't contagious in the casual sense. The risk rises as symptoms become severe, particularly neurological symptoms like confusion or extreme drowsiness. That's why early recognition and boundaries matter more than fear. After 50, many of us are caregivers to partners, parents, even grandchildren. Understanding this helps us protect both ourselves and the people we love without withdrawing from life. Simple habits, not sharing utensils, washing hands, using masks when illness is present, have been shown to dramatically reduce transmission risk. Not extreme measures, just mindful ones. So if you take nothing else from this part, remember this. Nipah spreads through intimate exposure, not everyday living. And knowing that gives us back something very important: peace of mind. Part 3. When Nipah reaches the brain. The signs you should never ignore. This is the part of the conversation we approach carefully, not with fear, but with respect. Because what makes the Nipah virus dangerous isn't how easily it spreads. It's where it goes once it enters the body. In a small number of cases, Nipah doesn't stop at flu-like symptoms. It moves deeper, toward the brain. Doctors call this encephalitis, inflammation of the brain. And this is where early awareness becomes critical. At first, the signs can be subtle. A fever that doesn't feel quite normal, a headache that feels heavier, deeper than usual, an unusual level of fatigue, not just tired, but mentally slowed. According to clinical reports published in medical journals and reviewed by the CDC, neurological symptoms often appear within days after the initial fever, not weeks. That window matters. As the virus affects the brain, some people begin to experience confusion. They may struggle to focus. Speech may slow. Sleepiness becomes overwhelming, not the kind that improves with rest. For older adults, this can be especially dangerous. After 50 or 60, we sometimes explain these signs away. We tell ourselves it's stress, or dehydration, or just aging. But science tells us something important here. When fever and neurological changes appear together, they should never be ignored. In severe cases, seizures or difficulty breathing can follow. Not suddenly, but progressively. And here's the quiet truth doctors emphasize again and again. Early medical attention saves lives. There is no specific cure for Nipah yet. Treatment focuses on supportive care, stabilizing breathing, reducing brain inflammation, supporting the body while it fights. The earlier that care begins, the better the outcome. This isn't about watching symptoms with anxiety. It's about listening without denial. After 50, wisdom isn't just knowing what to fear. It's knowing when not to wait. And that awareness, calm, informed, steady, is one of the strongest protections we have. Part 4. Practical prevention. The quiet habits that truly protect you. After hearing about symptoms and risks, it's natural to ask a simple question. So what can I actually do? The reassuring answer is this. Most protection doesn't come from medical interventions. It comes from everyday habits you already understand and may already practice. Science shows that Nipah prevention is less about avoiding life and more about respecting a few quiet boundaries. It begins with food, washing fruit thoroughly, peeling it when possible, avoiding food that's been left exposed outdoors. These steps may feel ordinary, but studies consistently show they reduce exposure to a wide range of viruses, not just Nipah. Then there's contact. If someone around you develops a high fever, along with unusual confusion, extreme fatigue, or neurological symptoms, create gentle distance. Not isolation, awareness. Use separate utensils. Wash hands carefully. If caregiving is necessary, simple protective measures like masks and gloves make a measurable difference. Healthcare data confirms this. In outbreaks where basic infection control was followed, person-to-person transmission dropped sharply. And finally, there's environment. Keeping living spaces clean, reducing wildlife access to food and water sources, making sure homes and storage areas aren't inviting unintended animal visitors. None of this requires fear. It requires intention. After 50, many of us have already learned that health isn't built through dramatic changes. It's built through consistency, through listening, through respect for nature, for the body, and for the quiet signals that guide us. The most important thing to remember is this. Nipah is rare, but preparation is simple. And when knowledge replaces uncertainty, peace replaces fear. As we come to the end of this conversation, there's one quiet truth worth holding on to. The Nipah virus is rare, but awareness is powerful. What protects us most isn't fear or constant vigilance. It's understanding, the kind that allows us to live fully while staying mindful. After 50, we've already learned something younger generations are still discovering. Health isn't about avoiding every risk. It's about recognizing the ones that matter. Simple habits, early attention, respect for the body and the world we live in. That's how protection really works. If this video helped you feel more informed and a little more at ease, consider sharing it with someone you care about. And if you'd like more calm, science-based conversations about staying healthy and independent as we age, you're welcome to subscribe and join us here. Because growing older isn't about fear of what might happen. It's about confidence in how we respond, and that confidence is something you already have.